Lie to Diep. Hello everyone, wishing you all good health and peace in life. To Diep's life is gradually changing the moment her little daughter appears, filling the emptiness with warmth and hope. Yet deep in her heart, a question lingers: will CEO James return to share this new beginning? Or will she walk this journey of motherhood alone? Life in the countryside had always been simple for Diep. Her days began with the crowing of roosters, the rustle of leaves in the morning wind, and the familiar routine of tending animals, cooking meals, and walking to the market. She never complained, but deep inside, a quiet emptiness often lingered, especially when she thought of James, the man she loved, but who was far away, consumed by work and responsibilities. One day, her life began to shift when a little girl appeared by her side. Like a gift fate had delivered, the child was not her own, but she treated her with tenderness and patience, as if destiny wanted her to experience a new kind of love. The girl sat with her, watched her cut spices, asked curious questions, and followed her like a shadow. When Diep's cart broke down while she was bringing pigs to the market, the girl waited silently, trusting that Diep would find a way. At home, they cooked together, shared meals by the warm glow of the fire, and laughed at small things that once might have gone unnoticed. For the first time in a long while, the house no longer felt lonely. Yet, even as she poured her heart into caring for the child, her thoughts often drifted to James. Every evening, when the girl had fallen asleep, Diep sat quietly by the wooden window, her hands resting on the table, her eyes gazing at the stars. She missed the sound of his voice, the way he would always encourage her, the warmth of his presence. Sometimes the phone rang, and it was him, James, speaking gently from a world far away. His words carried both longing and reassurance. "I miss you, Diep," he said one evening. "I'm trying to finish everything quickly so I can come back to you." She smiled softly. Even though tears blurred her vision, "I'll wait, no matter how long. Just promise me you'll take care of yourself." They spoke of little things: how she had bought a pig, how she smoked the meat above the kitchen fire to make it last longer, how the villagers preferred that taste. James listened with admiration, telling her she was strong, clever, and that her efforts would surely pay off. For Diep, those conversations were more than comfort. They were proof that their bond had not been broken by distance. But at the end of every call, when she hung up the phone, the silence returned. She wondered if love could truly endure the weight of time and separation. She wondered if James would really come back, or if life's storms would carry him even further away. The little girl, sensing nothing of these worries, would tug her sleeve, smile with innocent joy, and remind Diep that love was also about the moments shared here and now. Diep's life was changing, gently but surely. She had discovered resilience in herself, a deeper strength she never knew existed, and a love that extended beyond romance. But in the quiet of her heart, one question remained, beating like a soft drum in the silence of night. When James finally returns, will he find her the same, or will life have transformed her into someone new? The following weeks unfolded like a gentle rhythm of life. Each morning, Diep woke early to prepare breakfast, the smell of rice and firewood filling the small house. The little girl, Nee, as she called her, would sit nearby, her tiny hands turning the pages of an old picture book. She could not yet read, but her eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Diep, what is this?" Nee would ask, pointing to a picture of a goat, or a sun drawn in bright yellow. "That is the sun," Diep answered, brushing a strand of hair from the girl's forehead. "It rises every day to remind us to be strong." Nee smiled, repeating the words softly as though memorizing not just the picture, but the lesson hidden within it. There were days when Diep carried heavy baskets of vegetables or pieces of smoked pork to the market. Nee followed her footsteps, sometimes insisting on helping, though the weight was too much. for her small arms. Still, her determination filled Diep's heart with warmth. Life, though hard, felt lighter with the child's laughter echoing around her. But at night, when the lamps were dim and silence wrapped around the little house, the ache of missing James returned. She longed for his presence in simple moments, when she sat by the fire, when she ate her meal, when she looked at the stars. She imagined what it would be like if he walked through the wooden door, if his voice filled the house, if he saw how life had changed with a child beside her. Sometimes she caught herself whispering to the night air, "James, can you hear me? Do you know how much I miss you?" One evening, as she was salting strips of pork to hang above the fire, her phone rang again. It was James. The tiredness in his voice could not hide the excitement. "Diep, I think I will return soon. Business is finally under control." Her heart leaped, but she kept her voice calm. "Truly, then I will wait at the bus stop for you, no matter the day or the hour." He chuckled softly, the kind of laugh that used to make her forget the weight of the world. "You always know how to make me feel at home. Tell me, how are you and the little one?" "She is well," Diep answered, glancing at Nee, who was drawing circles in the ashes by the fire. "She makes the house bright. I think she has changed me too." James grew quiet for a moment, then spoke again, his tone softer, more serious. "I'm glad. But Diep, when I come back, will you still be the same? Or will you have changed too much for me to recognize?" Her chest tightened. She had no answer, only a quiet truth lingering in her heart. She was changing. Yes, but not away from him. The change was giving her more strength, more love, more patience. If anything, she hoped it would make her worthy of his return. That night, after the call ended, Diep sat by the sleeping child and whispered, "He is coming back, but will our lives still fit together?" The stars outside glittered faintly, as if they too were waiting for an answer. Days turned into weeks, and though James's words had promised his return, the distance between them still stretched like an endless road. Diep tried to hide her impatience, filling her days with work. She tended to the animals, planted vegetables by the riverbank, and carried smoked pork to the market. Villagers often greeted her with smiles, praising her for her hard work. But when she returned home, the silence weighed heavier than before. Nee remained her constant companion. The child's presence was like a small flame keeping the cold away. She often followed Diep into the fields, trying to help gather firewood or feed the chickens. Sometimes she stumbled. Sometimes she laughed at her own clumsiness, and each time, Diep would smile, feeling as if the child had brought her a second heartbeat. But one night, as the two of them shared a simple meal of rice and grilled pork, Nee looked up with innocent eyes and asked, "See, Diep, will my mother and father come back soon?" The question struck her like a blade. She paused, chopsticks hovering in the air, unsure what to say. Finally, she placed her hand gently on the girl's shoulder. "They will come, little one. The police are searching. You must believe in that." Nee nodded, but her eyes dimmed slightly. That night, as the child slept, Diep stayed awake, watching the moonlight spill through the window. She wondered what it meant to love a child who was not her own, to give her heart so freely, knowing one day the little girl might leave. And then her thoughts drifted to James. She imagined him in a faraway office, papers piled high, his mind weighed down with responsibilities. He had always carried the world on his shoulders, and now she feared he carried it alone. What if his promise to return was broken by forces beyond his control? What if the world swallowed him before he could ever find his way back? The following afternoon, her phone rang again. She rushed to answer, her heart racing. It was James, but his voice was not filled with joy. It was heavy, urgent. "Diep," he said, "things are more complicated than I thought. Someone is trying to sabotage the company. They are watching me. I cannot come back yet. Her chest tightened. James, you promised. I have waited so long. I know, he whispered. Every day I dream of being with you. But if I leave now, everything will fall apart. I need you to be strong for me, just a little longer. The line fell silent after his words, leaving only the sound of her own breath. Diep lowered the phone slowly, her eyes burning. She wanted to scream, to beg him to come home, but instead, she held her pain close. She knew love sometimes meant patience, even when the heart ached. Life has a way of teaching us through the simplest moments. From Diep's days in the countryside, caring for a small child and waiting for James, we learn that love and patience are often stronger than wealth or comfort. Her life was not easy, the work was heavy, and the loneliness could have broken her spirit. Yet instead of despair, she chose gratitude for the child's laughter, for the food on her table, and for the hope of reunion with the man she loved. The lesson is clear. Happiness is not found in what we lack, but in how we embrace what we have. Diep discovered that even in hardship, there is beauty when we share kindness and warmth with others. The child she cared for was not her own, yet through this bond, she realized that love does not require ownership, it only requires an open heart. At the same time, her story teaches us the value of patience in relationships. Love tested by distance can either fade or grow stronger. Instead of giving up when James could not return, Diep remained faithful. She trusted that love must be nurtured not only by presence, but also by belief and endurance. From her we learn that resilience is a choice. Even when life offers uncertainty, we can choose to keep hope alive, to face each day with quiet strength, and to believe that the storms will eventually pass. In the end, Diep's story reminds us that true love is not only about passion or promises, it is about waiting, caring, and holding on through the trials of life. It is about finding meaning in the journey, not only in the destination.